Michael is a 6-year-old boy living not far from where I live. He was seeing visions of soldiers of long ago moving up to a battle not far from his house, where he lived in a modern housing estate. And they called in a clairvoyant to see what could be done, to calm things down. And she saw, along with Michael, armies and armies of men and soldiers going by, and the sounds of clashing metals, and men standing on corners in strange olden time costumes and uniforms, and creaking carts going past, pulling the dead and the wounded past. While the clairvoyant did what she could, and she worked with Michael, and eventually she closed down the visions, and the clairvoyant moved on, and peace of a sort came to Michael and his family. Now, many years earlier, a friend of mine called Aisling lived in that area before the housing estates were built, and she wandered as a little girl herself, of about the same age as Michael was, through the fields, except for she wouldn't go into one field, and that field had a terribly strong smell, which she later in adult life identified as the smell of blood. And she called it the Weirdy Field because she felt faint when she went near it. And the grass grew there higher and lusher than in any other of the fields. But children will avoid unnecessary things and unnasty things, and she stayed away from it, and she grew older and moved away from where she lived, and progress came, and housing estates were built, and a road was pushed through her old family house, and there was no more. But as an adult, she made it her business to find out what the history of the area was, and she discovered that the field she called the Weirdy Field was called the Blood Field in the old tongue. It happened to be an area where a great battle had taken place, and men had fallen, and when they had fallen they had been simply covered over, and their blood had seeped into the ground, and that had caused the nutrients in the ground, and the bodies had rotted as well, so bone meal became part of the ground and the soil and everything else, and the grass grew high and above them. But Aisling had moved away, and a great big road was driven through the area, and a great big shopping centre was built on the area as well. And Michael had calmed down, and things were quiet there now, and Aisling had moved away. But there was always a sense in the area of unfinished business, of something not quite finished, not quite settled. And that was all there was to it. But it so happened that last week I myself went up that way and had to visit a remote car park in the shopping centre. And I had to meet somebody in a car, and I met them, and I transacted the business I had to transact, and then I walked across to my own car on a warm summer's day with the sun shining, when a breeze ran across the car park and wrapped itself around me. And I shivered involuntarily, for I felt someone had stood on my grave. And I discovered afterwards I had been standing in the blood field. It's not a place I will return to again.